I'm making today's video based on this TikTok.
Some of you smooth brains are having trouble with the $66 an hour minimum wage. That is the amount it would take to give us the same purchasing power that boomers had when they joined the workforce. You people don't read or Google competently. Boomers could do that with one person working with the minimum wage. And we're calling bullshit. The average price of a house in America is $410,000. The average age of a home buyer in America is 56 years old.
And I get it. He's mad. He can't build a life for him and his family. The problem is you're looking for somebody to blame, and you're looking at the boomers, you're looking at Generation X. The problem is it's a flaw in the system. It's a flaw in capitalism. I'm reminded of high school geometry, where it doesn't matter if you get the right answer. It only matters if you get the right proofs. And in politics, the proof is where the discussion can happen. Now, everybody knows the old adage, you don't buy a house for more than 3 times your annual income. It's been passed down by generation to generation like gospel. The problem is that rule only works in an economy where wages and home prices remain in lockstep with each other. Let's just look at today. The minimum wage is $15,080 annually. 3 times the minimum wage is $45,240. I also have to show the $15 an hour minimum wage because a lot of states pay more than the federal. And that puts you at $31,002 and $93,006 accordingly. And then finally, median full-time single earner income is about $60,000 a year. 3 times that is $180,000. That is your buying power for each of these income rates. Now, the creator of the video says, but the median home price is. A big problem with people using median home price is they're ignoring the fact that 50% of the homes are cheaper than that. But we don't need to go back to 1968 to talk about the issue. $45,000 a year is probably not going to get you into a home unless you're fortunate enough and willing to live in an area where $45,000 homes still exist. A person earning the median wage cannot buy a median home. They can only buy a home in about the 180,000 range, and that is only possible if they have good established credit, no other debt. For a person earning the median income to buy a median home would be 7.38 times their annual salary. That is insane. That alone tells the story. But since everybody wants to go back to the baby boomers, let's talk about them. And before we do that, let's talk about 1973, where America went off of a hard currency standard and moved to a fiat currency. And if you don't understand what that means, it means you don't understand economics enough to understand why home prices rise faster than wages. But let's go back because people always say it was better for the boomers. Federal minimum wage $1.60 an hour, minimum wage salary $3,300 a year. Median full-time single earner was $7,700 per year. 3 times that was $23,000. And the median home price was about $25,000. So yes, buying a median home on minimum wage would have required 7.57 the annual 1968 minimum wage. But to buy a home in 2025, to buy a median home on minimum wage is 29.4 times the annual 2025 minimum income. That's a huge problem. But we need to make sure that we compare apples to apples. We can't take a minimum wage and apply it to the median home price because there's no rationale for that. Minimum wage to median home price, ridiculous. Median income to median home price is a better comparison. In 1968, it cost a little more than 3 times the median income to buy a median home. Today, it's 7.3. The surface level comparison is clear. 1968 did have a stronger minimum wage relative to household earnings and needs. But what if we had the ability to reset everything? What if I could hit the reset button right now? Would that fix the problem? That would fix the problem only if house prices and income stayed in lockstep with each other. So as you see in year one, we're going to make the annual income 31,200. We're going to make the median home price 93,006, and the ratio is times 3. Year 5 remains the same. Year 10 remains the same. But that's not a reality. Over the last decade, US wages only grow 2 to 3% annually. Home prices, on the other hand, grow 6 to 7% annually. And why is that? Because they're investments. Because people live in a place and the school gets better and jobs move in and new nice cities move in, restaurants, movie theaters, other entertainment venues. So in this chart, same thing, we reset, but now median home prices are going to rise by 4% instead of 3. Annual income after 5 years is 3.5 times the ratio to buying that median home. And in 10 years, it's almost 4.25. I understand people say, put more money into the economy, put more money into the economy. The economy you're living in right now in 2025, all the inflation, that is due to states rapidly increasing the minimum wage and not understanding how improving the minimum wage in one area creates 2 to 3 years of temporary relief where things kind of get better. And then eventually it all closes on top of you. And then you have the 2025 economy. Prices are up. Yes, they are. That's how capitalism works. That's how inflation works. If you put more money into the system, everybody has more money. Everybody creates demand on all commodities. And supply and demand dictates the price must go up. And it's going to be the exact same thing if you try to raise wages to solve the housing crisis. I want people to have accessibility to homes, not McMansions. But if we can't talk about the whys, if we can't get into the proofs, well, then we can't solve the problem, and nobody really wants to solve the problem. People are keep going to saying financial solutions, lower property taxes, better lending programs, expanded down payment assistance. Well, all of those things are why your taxes are going up. If the government gives it to you, you paid for it already, and you paid for it for everybody else. We need to balance the budget. I'm going to keep saying it until people are sick of me saying it. We cannot fix any other problem in America until we force Congress to balance the budget. If you want to see the full article and all the details, it's in the link below.